Okay. Um, okay, so we're going to talk about the quadratic formula. Before we do that, I want you to try to factorize this equation. So I want you to try to figure out what thing adds to 3 or multiplies to 3 and adds to 7. Can you think of anything? No, the only things that multiply to be 3 are 1 and 3. Okay, so those add to 4. That's not 7. Okay, but this equation is still possible to be factorized. Okay, so in general, quadratic equations take this form of ax squared. So we have a x squared plus bx. So b's are 7 plus c is 3 equals 0, where a, b, and c are integers. Quadratic equations can be solved by the use of the quadratic formula, which states, okay, you're ready for this? X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. All right. Yeah, that's a lot. Okay, but if you remember this equation, okay, you'll be able to solve any quadratic that exists. Okay, so let's try this equation and plug it in here. Okay, so something that's helpful is just to define what each one is. So A is going to be 1, B will be 7, and C is 3. Okay, now we just go through and plug it in. So X equals negative B, so negative 7, plus or minus square root of B squared, so 7 squared, minus 4 AC. So 4 times 1 times 3. All of that over 2 times A. Okay, so let's go and simplify it. We'll do it up here. So X equals negative 7 plus or minus square root of 49 minus 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12 over 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, let's simplify this part. So X equals negative 7 plus or minus 49 minus 12 is 37 over 2. Okay, from here, we need to see if we can, there's not much we can do with a 7 and a 2, okay, because this is 2 terms here, so I can't divide a 2 no matter what here, but sometimes we can reduce this radical. So let's see, is there anything we can do with the square root of 37? Well, no, there's not, because 37 is prime. So the only things that go in here are 37 and 1. So our answers are going to be, well, this is our answer right here. So x equals negative 7 plus or minus square root of 37 all over 2. Now this plus or minus means we have two answers. So x equals, so if we were going to write this all the way out, x equals negative 7 plus root 37 over 2, okay, and x equals negative 7 minus root 37 over 2. Okay, the plus or minus comes from needing to take a square root, so either way it works. Alright, so believe it or not, this right here would be the answer. However, it's possible that they might ask you to put this into 3 significant figures or into decimal places. Okay, so if it did ask that, we would need to plug this into a calculator. Okay, and we plug both of these into a calculator, and when we plug this one into a calculator, we would get x equals negative 0.46 to 2 decimal places. Okay, and this one we would get x equals negative 6.54 to 2 decimal places. Now, these are just approximations, okay? Because if we went and plugged these in to this equation, right to our original equation up here, they would not give us the exact answer, okay? However, if we plug these ones in, they would. So if it doesn't ask what form to give it in, this is the most correct answer because, okay, there's no approximation. So make sure you're asking yourself, how did they ask it of me, okay? So go ahead and try this one on your own and come back when you're done. Okay, so let's define our A. Our A is 1, our B is -4, and our C is -2. If you didn't get that in the beginning and you plugged in just a 4 and just a 2, okay, the signs go with it. Okay, if this is a negative here, this would have been a -1. Alright, so if you messed up there, pause it again and retry the problem. Alright, let's do it. So negative B, well, a -4 is just a +4. So x equals 4 plus or minus square root of -4 squared minus 4 AC. So 4 times 1 times -2 all over 2a, which is 1. Okay, let's simplify. So x equals 4 plus or minus -4 squared is 16 minus 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times -2 is -8. So minus -8. So minus -8 over 2. And simplify this top. So x equals 4 plus or minus 16. Okay, minus a negative is going to be 24 over 2. Okay, and we're almost done. However, let's try to simplify this out. So 24. So root 24, we know 4 and a 6 go in. Okay, we know we could take this 4 out, but let's just keep going all the way. So we have 2 2's and then a 6. So we're going to get 2 root 6. Okay, so then we would, let's take that and put it over here. X equals 4 plus or minus 4 plus or minus 2 root 6 over 2. And from here, we can simplify. We can take out this 2 from both of these. So x equals 2 plus or minus root 6. And this is our most correct answer. Again, this is just saying x equals 2 plus root 6 and x equals 2 minus root 6. Okay, and if we approximated these, and let's not actually have equal signs, but let's have approximation signs. If we put those into a calculator, we would get 4.45 and negative 0.45. Okay? That's how we do it. Make sure that you're plugging in the right things, you're keeping track of your negatives, okay? And if it just says solve it, all right, I'm happy with leaving it in the radical form unless it does say to put it into decimals, in which case this is not good enough. We need to approximate it with our calculator. All right? And then one last thing I'd like to say is that the quadratic formula will always work. However, it's not always the best tool for the job. For instance, if we had a simple quadratic like x squared plus 4x plus 3 equals 0, well, what adds to 4 and multiplies with 3? Well, that's 1 and 3. If we can factorize it easily, or even if it takes us a little bit to factorize it, we know that we could do this x plus 1 and x plus 3 equals 0, and then this is easy for us to solve. Okay, we could definitely put this in the quadratic formula and it would work. However, we can see that it takes a long time to go through that process. So be smart about how you're going to do things. It's up to you how you want to accomplish it. Okay, you have the tools, but use the right tool for the job. Yeah.